I Am That Talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 93. Man is not the doer. Your mind is not quiet. It is because of your illusion that you are the doer. In reality, things are done to you, not by you. Questioner. From the beginning of my life, I have been pursued by a sense of incompleteness, from school to college, to work, to marriage, to affluence. I imagined that the next thing would surely give me peace, but there was no peace. This sense of unfulfillment keeps on growing as the years pass by. Maharaj. As long as there is the body and the sense of identity with the body, frustration is inevitable. Only when you know yourself as entirely alien to and different from the body will you find respite from the mixture of fear and craving inseparable from the I am the body idea. Mere assuaging fears and satisfying desires will not remove this sense of emptiness you are trying to escape from. Only self-knowledge can help you. By self-knowledge, I mean full knowledge of what you are not. Such knowledge is attainable and final, but to the discovery of what you are, there can be no end. The more you discover, the more there remains to discover. Questioner. For this we must have different parents and schools, live in a different society. Maharaj. You cannot change your circumstances, but you can change your attitudes. You need not be attached to the non-essentials. Only the necessary is good. There is peace only in the essential. Questioner. It is truth I seek, not peace. Maharaj. You cannot see the true unless you are at peace. A quiet mind is essential for correct perception, which again is required for self-realization. Questioner. I have so much to do, I just cannot afford to keep my mind quiet. Maharaj. It is because of your illusion that you are the doer. In reality, things are done to you, not by you. Questioner. If I just let things happen, how can I be sure that they will happen my way? Surely I must bend them to my desire. Maharaj. Your desire just happens to you along with its fulfillment or non-fulfillment. You can change neither. You may believe that you exert yourself, strive and struggle. Again, it all merely happens, including the fruits of the work. Nothing is done by you and for you. All is in the picture exposed on the cinema screen. Nothing is in the light, including what you take yourself to be, the person. You are the light only. Questioner. If I am the light only, how did I come to forget it? Maharaj. You have not forgotten. It is in the picture on the screen that you forget and then remember. You never cease to be a man because you dream you are a tiger. Similarly, you are pure light appearing as a picture on the screen and also becoming one with it. Questioner. Since all just happens, why should I worry? Maharaj. Exactly. Freedom is freedom from worry. Having realized that you cannot influence the results, pay no attention to your desires and fears. Let them come and go. Don't give them the nourishment of interest and attention. Questioner. If I turn my attention from what happens, what am I to live by? Maharaj, again, it is like asking, what shall I do if I stop dreaming? Stop and see. You need not be anxious. What's next? There's always the next. Life does not begin nor end. Immovable, it moves. Momentary, it lasts. Light cannot be exhausted, even if innumerable pictures are projected by it. So does life fill every shape to the brim and return to its source when the shape breaks down. Questioner. If life is so wonderful, how could ignorance happen? Maharaj. You want to treat the disease without having seen the patient. Before you ask about ignorance, why don't you inquire first who is ignorant? When you say you are ignorant, you do not know that you have imposed the concept of ignorance over the actual state of your thoughts and feelings. Examine them as they occur. Give them your full attention, and you will find there is nothing like ignorance, only inattention. Give attention to what worries you, that is all. After all, worry is mental pain, and pain is invariably a call for attention. The moment you give attention, the call for it ceases, and the question of ignorance dissolves. Instead of waiting for an answer to your question, find out who is asking the question and what makes him ask it. You will soon find that it is the mind, goaded by fear of pain, that asks the question. And in fear, there is memory and anticipation, past and future. Attention brings you back to the present, the now, and the presence in the now is the state ever at hand, but rarely noticed. Questioner, you are reducing sadhana to simple attention. How is it that other teachers teach complete, difficult, and time-consuming courses? Maharaj, the gurus usually teach the sadhanas by which they themselves have reached their goal. Whatever their goal may be, this is but natural for their own sadhana. They know intimately. I was taught to give attention to my sense of I am, and I found it supremely effective. Therefore, I can speak of it with full confidence. But often people come with their bodies, brains, and minds so mishandled, perverted, and weak at the state of formless attention, is beyond them. Such cases, some simpler token of earnestness is appropriate. The repetition of a mantra or gazing at a picture will prepare their body and mind for a deeper and more direct search. After all, it is earnestness that is indispensable. The crucial factor, sadhana, is only a vessel, and it must be filled to the brim with earnestness, which is but love in action, for nothing can be done without love. Questioner, we love only ourselves. Maharaj, were it so, it would be splendid. Love yourself wisely, and you will reach the summit of perfection. Everybody loves his body, but few love their real being. Questioner, does my real being need my love? Maharaj, your real being is love itself, and your many loves are its reflections according to the situation at the moment. Questioner, we are selfish. We know only self-love. Maharaj, good enough for a start. By all means, wish yourself well. Think over. Feel out completely what is really good for you and strive for it earnestly. Very soon you will find that the real is your only good. Questioner, yet I do not understand why the various gurus insist on prescribing complicated and difficult sadhanas. Don't they know better? Maharaj, it is not what you do, but what you stop doing that matters. The people who begin their sadhana are so feverish and restless that they have to be very busy to keep themselves on track. An absorbing routine is good for them. After some time, they quiet down and turn away from effort. In peace and silence, the skin of the eye dissolves and the inner and the outer become one. The real sadhana is effortless. Questioner: I sometimes have the feeling that space itself is my body. Maharaj: when you are bound by the illusion, I am this body, you are merely a point in space and a moment in time. When the self-identification with the body is no more, all space and time are in your mind, which is a mere ripple in consciousness, which is awareness reflected in nature. Awareness and matter are the active and the passive aspects of pure being, which is in both and beyond both. Space and time are the body and the mind of the universal existence. My feeling is that all happens in space and time happens to me, that every experience is my experience, every form is my form. What I take myself to be becomes my body, and all that happens to that body becomes my mind. But at the root of the universe there is a pure awareness beyond space and time, here and now. Know it to be your real being and act accordingly. Questioner: what difference will it make in action what I take myself to be? Actions just happen according to circumstances. Maharaj: circumstances and conditions rule the ignorant. The knower of reality is not compelled. The only law he obeys is that of love. I am that. Talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 94. You are beyond space and time. When you know yourself as beyond space and time, in contact with them only at the point of here and now, otherwise all-pervading and all-containing, unapproachable, unassailable, invulnerable, you will be afraid no longer. Know yourself as you are. Against fear, there is no other remedy. Questioner: you continue saying that I was never born and I will never die. If so, how is it that I see the world as one which has been born and surely will die? Maharaj: you believe so because you have never questioned your belief that you are the body, which obviously is born and dies. While alive, it attracts attention and fascinates so completely that rarely does one perceive one's real nature. It is like seeing the surface of the ocean and completely forgetting the immensity beneath. The world is but the surface of the mind, and the mind is infinite. What we call thoughts are just ripples in the mind. When the mind is quiet, it reflects reality. When it is motionless through and through, it dissolves and only reality remains. This reality is so concrete, so actual, so much more tangible than the mind and matter, that compared to it, even a diamond is soft like butter. This overwhelming actuality makes the world dreamlike, misty, irrelevant. Questioner: this world with so much suffering in it, how can you see it as irrelevant? What callousness! Maharaj: it is you who are callous, not me. If your world is so full of suffering, do something about it. Don't add to it through greed or indolence. I'm not bound by your dreamlike wool. In my wool, the seeds of suffering, desire, and fear are not sown, and suffering does not grow. My wool is free from opposites of mutually destructive discrepancies. Harmony pervades. Its peace is rock-like. This peace and silence are my body. Questioner. What you say reminds me of the Dharmakaya of the Buddha. Maharaj, maybe. We need not run off with terminology. Just see the person you imagine yourself to be as a part of the world you perceive within your mind, and look at the mind from the outside, for you are not the mind. After all, your problem is the ego self-identification with whatever you perceive. Give up this habit. Remember that you are not what you perceive. Use your power of alert aloofness. See yourself in all that lives, and your behavior will express your vision. Once you realize that there is nothing in this world which you can call your own, you can look at it from the outside as you would look at a play on a stage or a picture on a screen, admiring and enjoying, but really unmoved. As long as you imagine yourself to be something tangible and solid, a thing among things, actually existing in time and space, short-lived and vulnerable, naturally you will be anxious to survive and increase. But when you know yourself as beyond space and time, in contact with them only at the point of here and now, otherwise all-pervading and all-containing, unapproachable, unassailable, invulnerable, you will be afraid no longer. Know yourself as you are. Against fear there is no other remedy. You have to learn to think and feel along these lines, or you will remain indefinitely on the personal level of desire and fear, gaining and losing, growing and decaying. A personal problem cannot be solved on its own level. The very desire to live is the messenger of death, as the longing to be happy is the outline of sorrow. The world is an ocean of pain and fear, of anxiety and despair. Pleasures are like the fishes, few and swift, coming rarely, quickly gone. A man of low intelligence believes against all evidence that he is an exception and that the world owes him happiness. But the world cannot give what it does not have. Unreal to the core, it is of no use for real happiness. It cannot be otherwise. We seek the real because we are unhappy with the unreal. Happiness is our real nature, and we shall never rest until we find it. But we rarely know where to seek it. Once you have understood that the world is but a mistaken view of reality and is not what it appears to be, you are free of its obsessions. Only what is compatible with your real being can make you happy, and the world as you perceive it is its outright denial. Keep very quiet and watch what comes to the surface of the mind. Reject the known, welcome the so far unknown, and reject it in its turn. Thus you come to a state in which there is no knowledge, only being, in which being itself is knowledge. To know by being is direct knowledge. It is based on the identity of the seer and the seen. Indirect knowledge is based on sensation and memory, on proximity of the perceiver and his percept. Confined within the contrast between the two is the same as happiness. Usually you have to be sad to know gladness, and glad to know sadness. True happiness is uncaused, and this cannot disappear for lack of stimulation. It is not the opposite of sorrow. It includes all sorrow and suffering. Questioner: how can one remain happy amidst so much suffering? Maharaj: one cannot help it. The inner happiness is overwhelmingly real. Like the sun in the sky, its expressions may be clouded, but it is never absent. Questioner: when we are in trouble, we are bound to be unhappy. Maharaj: fear is the only trouble. Know yourself as independent and you will be free from fear and its shadows. Questioner: what is the difference between happiness and pleasure? Maharaj: pleasure depends on things. Happiness does not. Questioner: if happiness is independent, why are we not always happy? Maharaj: as long as we believe that we need things to make us happy, we shall also believe that in their absence we must be miserable. The mind always shapes itself according to its beliefs. Hence, the importance of convincing oneself that one need not be prodded into happiness, that on the contrary, pleasure is a distraction and a nuisance, and do things to be happy. Wait, let me read that again. Hence the importance of convincing oneself that one need not be prodded into happiness, that on the contrary, pleasure is a distraction and a nuisance, for it merely increases the false conviction that one needs to have and do things to be happy, when in reality it is just the opposite. But why talk of happiness at all? You do not think of happiness except when you are unhappy. A man who says, "Now I am happy," is between two sorrows, past and future. This happiness is mere excitement caused by relief from pain. Real happiness is utterly unself-conscious. It is best expressed negatively as there is nothing wrong with me. I have nothing to worry about. After all, the ultimate purpose of all sadhana is to reach a point when this conviction, instead of being only verbal, is based on the actual and ever-present experience. Questioner: which experience? Maharaj: the experience of being empty, uncluttered by memories and expectations. It is like the happiness of open spaces, of being young, of having all the time and energy for doing things, for discovery, for adventure. Questioner: what remains to discover? Maharaj: the universe without and the immensity within as they are in reality, in the great mind and heart of God, the meaning and purpose of existence, the secret of suffering, life's redemption from ignorance. Maharaj: if being happy is the same as being free from fear and worry, can it not be said that absence of trouble is the cause of happiness? Maharaj: a state of absence, of non-existence, cannot be a cause. The pre-existence of a cause is implied in the notion. Your actual state, your natural state, in which nothing exists, cannot be a cause of becoming. The causes are hidden in the great and mysterious power of memory. But your true home is in nothingness, in emptiness of all content. Questioner: emptiness and nothingness. How dreadful! Maharaj: you face it most cheerfully when you go to sleep. Find out for yourself the state of wakeful sleep, and you will find it quite in harmony with your real nature. Words can only give you the idea, and the idea is not the experience. All I can say is that true happiness has no cause, and What has no cause is immovable. This does not mean it is perceivable as pleasure. What is perceivable is pain and pleasure. The state of freedom from sorrow can only be described negatively. To know it directly, you must go beyond the mind, which is addicted to causality and the tyranny of time. Questioner: if happiness is not conscious and consciousness is not happy, what is the link between the two? Maharaj: consciousness of being a product of conditions and circumstances depends on them and changes along with them. What is independent, uncreated, timeless and changeless, yet ever new and fresh, is beyond the mind. When the mind thinks of it, the mind dissolves and only happiness remains. Questioner: when all goes, nothingness remains. Maharaj: how can there be nothing without something? Nothing is only an idea. It depends on the memory of something. Pure being is quite independent of existence, which is definable and describable. Questioner: please tell us, beyond the mind, does consciousness continue, or does it end with the mind? Maharaj: consciousness comes and goes. Awareness shines immutably. Questioner: who is aware in awareness? Maharaj: where there is a person, there is also consciousness. I am, mind consciousness denote the same state. If you say I am aware, it only means I am conscious of thinking about being aware. There is no I am in awareness. Questioner: what about witnessing? Maharaj: witnessing is of the mind. The witness goes with the witnessed. In the state of non-duality, all separation ceases. Questioner: what about you? Do you continue in awareness? Maharaj: the person, the I am, this body, this mind, this chain of memories, this bundle of desires and fears disappears, but something you may call identity remains. It enables me to become a person when required. Love creates its own necessities, even of becoming a person. Questioner: it is said that reality manifests itself as existence, consciousness, bliss. Are they absolute or relative? Maharaj: they are relative to each other and depend on each other. Reality is independent of its expressions. Questioner: what is the relation between reality and its expressions? Maharaj: no relation. In reality, all is real and identical. As we put it, Saguna and Nirguna are one in Para Brahman. There is only the Supreme. In movement, it is Saguna. Motionless, it is Nirguna. But it is only the mind that moves or does not move. The real is beyond. You are beyond. Once you have understood that nothing perceivable or conceivable can be yourself, you are free of your imaginations. To see everything as imagination, born of desire, is necessary for self-realization. We miss the real by lack of attention and create the unreal by excess of imagination. You have to give your heart and mind to these things and brood over them repeatedly. It is like cooking food. You must keep it on the fire for some time before it is ready. Questioner: I am not under the sway of destiny. Am I not under the sway of destiny of my karma? What can I do against it? What I am and what I do are predetermined. Even my so-called free choice is predetermined. Only I am not aware of it and imagine myself to be free. Maharaj, again, it all depends on how you look at it. Ignorance is like a fever. It makes you see things which are not there. Karma is the divinely prescribed treatment. Welcome it and follow the instructions faithfully and you will get well. A patient will leave the hospital after he recovers. To insist on immediate freedom of choice and action will merely postpone recovery. Accept your destiny and fulfill it. This is the shortest way to freedom from destiny, though not from love and its compulsions. To act from desire and fear is bondage. To act from love is freedom.